Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ video here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift NoDQ. I have your questions from twitter.com/AaronRift using the hashtag NoDQvideo. Let's go ahead and get started. First one today comes from Nikki Sturzu. Hey Aaron, I heard that WWE is upset with the recent discussion between Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey on Twitter that is breaking the fourth wall. Any chance it will affect the match at Wrestlemania? No, because I do not feel like Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey are going into business for themselves. I feel like this is all something that is planned out in advance, and they are targeting the diehard fans by making all these comments that are breaking the fourth wall. Ronda Rousey saying she's going to go off the script. It almost feels like Vince Russo style writing here. And Becky Lynch even referenced Vince Russo. So the tweets that they're sending out, they are designed for the most diehard fans to get them worked up, get them buzzing, get them talking about WrestleMania. So no, the tweets are not going to affect WrestleMania. Now I know there's one report that apparently some of the things that Becky and Ronda said were not 100% approved. I feel like there's not going to be any repercussions, even if Ronda did say something she wasn't supposed to say, because she's Ronda Rousey. She can get away with it. She's one of the few people that can do whatever she wants, basically. I'm sure she's going to get permission for certain things, but she may go overboard a little bit. It's possible, but is WWE going to do anything about it? No. There's really not much WWE can do about it. Ronda is in a position where she could pretty much call her own shots, but I feel like she's a professional and she wouldn't just go completely out of line and do something that was not approved beforehand by WWE. Got this one here from SCW Wrestling Channel. Hey Aaron, with Vince McMahon removing both Becky Lynch and Kofi Kingston out of the championship matches, do you think we are seeing the beginning of a storyline where Mr. McMahon is out of touch of what's best for business? No, I do not. And I doubt that Vince or people close to Vince are going to script something where Vince is out of touch. Vince is not going to be made to look weak. I don't see that ever happening. Even if Vince is 80 and legitimately senile, I don't think that on television, Vince is going to be portrayed as somebody who's senile and out of touch. Don't see it happening. What's going on here is WWE's relying on a formula. Yes, I am entertained by the Kofi Kingston storyline. I'm entertained by the Becky Lynch storyline. But it's more or less a repeat of the same storyline that we've seen for 2 decades now. Heel authority figure. Babyface who has to overcome the odds from the authority to get to the top. We saw it with Stone Cold Steve Austin. We saw it with Daniel Bryan. We've seen it time and time again. WWE tried it with Roman Reigns. So it's just WWE going with what they know to be effective. And yeah, it's getting to be a bit overkill now because we have Becky Lynch doing it. Seth Rollins, in a way, is in a similar storyline where he has to overcome the odds to beat Brock Lesnar. But specifically, Becky Lynch and Kofi Kingston, you have the authority that are trying to hold these guys back, and now you're supposed to root for the underdog to see them overcome the authority. Same storyline we've seen over and over again. Got this one here from Joshua. Am I wrong for not being excited for Triple H versus Batista? I mean, how is this different from Batista versus Orton? I am with you, man. I've said this many times before. I said this a year ago when it was first rumored that Batista wanted a match with Triple H. I'm like, come on now. Why do we need to see this match? They had a match at WrestleMania 21. Wasn't a great match. Granted, the Hell in a Cell match was better, but the WrestleMania match was just kind of meh. Now, granted, it did do a lot for Batista and got his career rolling, but do we really need to see this match again 15 years later? I mean, it feels very similar to like Triple H and Undertaker from Super Showdown and the Crown Jewel match with Shawn Michaels coming back. Totally unnecessary. A match we don't need to see again. It's a waste of Batista as far as I'm concerned. I'm tired of Triple H having to be in a match at WrestleMania every single year. Not necessary. You have a lot of guys with talent that could potentially take that spot, but Triple H is going to be in that spot instead because, well, WWE doesn't have enough confidence in their current guys and they feel they need Triple H there to add some star power to WrestleMania. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. I don't want to see Triple H in a WrestleMania match, and I don't want to see Triple H versus Batista. I'd rather see Batista versus any number of guys, one of the current guys, maybe Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns. Even somebody like AJ Styles would be interesting. But Batista and Triple H, meh. 4 out of 10 at best. Got this one here from Mr. Yuck. So are we supposed to cheer Triple H against Batista and then boo him as he has Becky Lynch arrested? Bipolar booking is bound to fail. Batista really returns with odds on to lose at WrestleMania as heel Blue-tista again, question mark. Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like Triple H's character is a shade of gray at this point. 1 minute he's a face, 1 minute he's a heel, depending on what the storyline is. Triple H injects himself in all these different storylines, and depending on the storyline, he's either a face or a heel. For me, it's hard to get emotionally invested in this character. Now, there's not necessarily anything wrong with characters that are shades of gray, and I look at Breaking Bad. I always like to point out Breaking Bad as an example because that show has outstanding writing, and if your storytelling is done properly, you can make it work. You can make a character who has some good qualities and some bad qualities be an interesting character, and you're with that character at the right times and you're against that character at the right times. But with Triple H, the writing is just so bad, and it's just pro wrestling in general. This is why with pro wrestling, you know, it's more times than not you have to check your brain at the door. So in that case, if you're just going to not put a lot of thought into your writing, then you need to go with a simple good versus evil. When you do a shade of gray, you need to step up your game when it comes to the writing, and WWE doesn't do that. They just do the same lazy writing with the shades of gray characters as they would do with the good versus bad. But at least with the good versus bad, the characters are clearly defined. And you know who to cheer for, you know who to boo for. And with WWE, it's just all over the place. And yeah, it's hard to get emotionally invested in a character when you don't know how to react. And I feel that happens quite often. And yeah, Triple H thing to me is a mess. I mean, Batista's better off as a heel. But yeah, Triple H going out there and arresting Becky Lynch, the whole thing's a mess, but whatever. Got this one here from Sideshow Bob the Rent Boy. Hey Aaron, would you have Batista on film sets with a diva attitude, bullying people and dismissing WWE as he's bigger and better? Let him rip on the WWE fans like he did in 2010. Have him dress like a total douchebag. Yes, yes, and yes. I would love to see some vignettes of Batista on a Hollywood set just being a cocky, arrogant bastard. I think it's great. I love the fact that Batista was wearing those sunglasses. I like how people were calling him out for the sunglasses. And I'm like, he's a heel. He wants that reaction from you. He wants you to see him as a douchebag. And I love it. The nose ring, a blue nose ring at that. Perfect. I love it. He should come out. He should do the spotlight like he did in 2010 and just be an arrogant prick. I love it. Batista does so well in that role. You know, that 2010 Batista was arguably the peak of his career. He was just fantastic. I want to see more of that. Batista's definitely better as a heel at this stage of the game. But going back to that previous question, I wish I cared more about Triple H. But then again, I really don't want to see this match in the first place. Got this one here from Cindy. Hey Aaron, here's the solution to unbury the Riott Squad. Have them break up and go their separate ways with Ruby and Liv still being heels and Sarah Logan being a babyface. Push Ruby hard enough to have some credibility in WWE. Different theme song. Your thoughts? Well, I would not mind seeing Ruby Riott as a babyface character. That way she can keep her entrance music, right? Yeah, I'm interested to see what would happen, though, with Liv. I feel like they're best off as a group right now. I feel if you split them up, Liv and Sarah Logan will probably get lost in the shuffle. I suppose they could be a tag team and they'll have a little bit of longevity as a team. But yeah, I feel the three of them, Ruby definitely has the most potential and she could be a top babyface character. She could also be a successful heel, but I feel like you got to change up her music and change up her character a little bit. But yeah, that's definitely an avenue WWE can go and explore. But right now, I feel like they're best off being together. Just change the damn music already. Got this one here from Michael. What are your thoughts about WrestleMania 36 in Tampa, Florida? I know everyone is sick and tired of every WrestleMania in Florida, but what's next for WrestleMania 37? LA, Vegas, Minneapolis, or Atlanta? I am very much meh about Tampa, Florida. I mean, I know for me personally, if I'm going to go to WrestleMania, I don't really want to fly. I'd rather just be able to drive to the location. And I feel like WrestleMania needs to go to some different areas. I get it. Minneapolis is a cold weather city, and some of those northern cities are not ideal for WrestleMania. And WWE is ultimately going to go where they get the best financial offers from these cities. I guess Tampa just made the best offer. And I guess Florida, Texas, New York, they tend to make the best offers for WrestleMania. I definitely see Vegas and LA being in the future, though. With those stadiums being built, those cities are going to want some big events to help launch those stadiums. Obviously, the Super Bowl will be in those stadiums soon. But yeah, I definitely see WrestleMania within the next 5 years being in LA and Las Vegas in separate years. Both of those cities will get WrestleMania soon. I'd love to see it in Minneapolis. I don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon, but to me that would be really cool. I'd love to go to the Mall of America and just a different location. Florida's okay, but I mean, it's been overdone. You know, I'd like to see something different. I'd love to see WrestleMania back in the Pacific Northwest, but I know that's highly unlikely in all likelihood, so just going to have to deal with something else. You know, I'd love to see it be in Detroit again. That would be great, but don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. My feeling is LA and Vegas definitely within the next 5 years. Maybe Minneapolis. We'll have to wait and see. Got this one here from Dave. Do you see any similarities between the current storyline with Kofi Kingston and the Daniel Bryan storyline going into WrestleMania 30? I haven't been as emotionally invested in a character or story in wrestling like I am with Kofi since Bryan leading to WrestleMania 30. Well, yeah, going back to earlier, it is basically that same storyline being repeated where Kofi is close to getting his opportunity. He's a fan favorite. He's an underdog. But then the evil authority wants to hold him back because he's not championship material. He's a B-plus player. And Virtue just loves playing that character of saying, oh, Kofi's just this B-plus guy and he's not main event material. He's too small. Virtue just likes working you guys and, you know, likes to draw up heat and get me worked up and get everybody else on the NoDQ review worked up. But I think it's a great story. The problem is it's just too much of a copycat of what we've already seen before. But then again, I guess we should feel happy and Kofi should feel happy in real life that he's even getting this opportunity now. I mean, if Mustafa Ali had not gotten injured, there wouldn't have been this Kofi Kingston push. So, you know, I guess we should all just be thankful that Kofi is getting this opportunity. And, you know, I feel bad for Mustafa Ali because he might have gotten a WWE title match and maybe he would have gotten red hot. Who knows? Got this one here from Sloth Freight LLI 39. Hey Aaron, do you think that the recent NXT call-ups will get lost in the shuffle like EC3 and Sanity already have? Well, if you're talking about the current 4 guys, I don't think they're going to get lost in the shuffle. Ciampa is injured, reportedly, so I don't know what's going to happen with him. But all 4 guys, Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, Ricochet, and Aleister Black, they're all going to get big pushes. These guys are going to be the focal point moving forward. It's the previous people like EC3. Maybe not Lacey Evans. I feel like she's going to get a big push. But Heavy Machinery, they're probably going to get lost in the shuffle fairly soon. And, you know, some of these other recent call-ups from the past year, like Sanity, as you mentioned. But yeah, the new crop, the 4 guys that I just mentioned that are on TV now, I see big things for all 4 of them. I definitely see them getting pushed in a big way over the next several years in WWE. Got this one here from Arthur. How would you feel about John Cena and Undertaker having a match at WrestleMania 36? I think it's a real possibility. Well, I'm not sure why you think that. There's pretty much no reason to do this. We already had that John Cena Undertaker so-called match from last year. I don't see WWE doing it again, and I'm not a fan. I don't want to see it. I have no interest in seeing Undertaker versus Cena again, and I don't think they're going to do it. I just don't. Who knows if Undertaker's even going to do another WrestleMania match, period. But if he does, I think it's going to be against a younger guy, somebody who can carry Undertaker and possibly get the rub from beating The Undertaker and being The Undertaker's final match. I don't see John Cena versus Undertaker. Highly unlikely in all likelihood. That'll do it for this edition of NoDQ Video. Thank you all so much for watching and supporting the website and channel. Spread the word, tell a friend, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time.